Well, let's focus on what's happening in Ukraine itself. As we saw there, Russia's been accused of sending successive waves of drones towards Kiev in the 10th attack this month. Air raid sirens have sounded across the country and there were reports of explosions, but no reported casualties. Well, earlier today, the G7 leaders laid wreaths at the cenotaph for A-bomb victims in the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. That's ahead of the start of the G7 summit. The park is dedicated to the tens of thousands who died in the world's first wartime atomic bomb detonation. Russia's nuclear threats against Ukraine, reports of North Korea's missile tests and China's expanding nuclear arsenal have all resonated with Japan's push to make nuclear disarmament a key part of the summit. The military analyst, former Vice Air Marshal Sean Bell is here. Good to see you again, Sean. We were just talking about it there, but it's been confirmed now that President Zelensky is going to travel to Japan to join that G7. What's the significance of that?
Well, Zelensky's seen a number of these leaders most recently, but the G7 is the most powerful democracies in the world, the wealthiest in the world, and therefore it's a unique opportunity when they're all together for President Zelensky to make a bit of a pitch, try and get more aid and support from all of them. It's also poignant that it's being held in Hiroshima. That provides a really good backdrop for Zelensky. August the 6th, 1945, that's the first targeted nuclear weapon went off. So the Japanese know the horrors of war, and that would be a really powerful backdrop for Zelensky to make his appeal. It's also worth noting, though, that the G7, although obviously it's only 7 countries, they've invited a couple of other countries along as guests, and they include India and Brazil. Why is that interesting? Because neither of those countries have been supporting Zelensky up till now because of their business tied to Russia. Just imagine how difficult it will be for them in this company with President Zelensky there. I expect a bit of pressure to be brought to bear.
Yeah, certainly an unusual G7 summit. Russia has been launching new waves of airstrikes over Ukraine last night. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's been, I think this is the 10th day in succession they've been doing this. 28 missile attacks, a mixture of missiles and drones. Ukraine claims they've shot down 3 of the missiles out of the 6 that were fired and 16 of the 22 armed drones. But as you say, Kyiv has been under a relentless attack for ages. But it's also interesting, Russia attacked Kryvyi Rih, which is over just by you over there. That's the hometown of President Zelensky. I don't think that's been attacked before. A number of explosions, loads of fires, several casualties, including one 64-year-old lady as well.
And let's talk about Bakhmut. We saw there Alex Rossi's piece from the border of Bakhmut. What's going on at the moment there? Yeah,
fantastic footage. I mean, just amazing seeing it from the front line. If you remember that we've been talking about this for over 11 months, the Russians have been pushing in. If you go back to April time, the Russians crossed this Bakhmut River, which is about here, and ever since they've been creeping inexorably forward, cornering the Ukrainians, who now hold about less than 2 square kilometres at the west of the city. Now, what Russia's been trying to do over the last few days is do a pincer movement and encircle them. So the Russian army have been working out on the flanks to the north and the south. The Wagner group have been working through the middle, the idea just to encircle. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, the Wagner group's been relatively successful. They're making incremental progress. But the Ukrainians have been pushing back at the flanks and have been very successful at pushing the Russian army out of the way. That's left the flanks exposed, and that means Yevgeny Prigozhin, the boss of the Wagner group, has been furious and has been venting his anger at this. Now, any military operation, you need everything to be sequenced, everything to be working well. What's evident is the Russian army and the Wagner group are actually at war with each other as well as the Ukrainians. Not a healthy position.